And two, man, we got top 10 wrestlers who returned out of shape. I'm taking my boy Fonzo's content. I ain't gonna lie to you though. You know what I'm saying? This is mine. I've been watching wrestling before you were alive. I ain't gonna lie to you, man. Boy finna turn Hollywood on me too. It's crazy work. Hold on.
The physique is in
Ricky?
everything in
Sheamus. Nah, Sheamus. Hey, Sheamus got injured. Then he said, WWE, they just called him up just one time and said, oh yeah, we're gonna need you right now. I remember that. Sheamus did come back fat, beer belly. I'm telling you.
wrestling, though it certainly helps a wrestler achieve their full potential if they eat right, hit the gym, and inject, well, certain performance-enhancing chemicals into their veins. No, of course that's not a good thing. But even then, what exactly is
That
a
my boy
great
Bobby
physique?
Lashley, right?
Hulk Hogan.
Hey, people did say me and Bobby Lashley. You know what I'm saying? We are just alike sometimes. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if y'all boys can peep this 45-inch bicep, man. Talk to me.
Was a chisel mountain of a man, while Andre the Giant tipped the scales at 500 plus pounds.
Of course.
So details separating the reputation both left on the industry. Sometimes, however, when a wrestler makes their grand comeback, they do so without the same alluring figure that they once held. Join us now as WrestleMania looks at 10 wrestlers who returned totally out of shape. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos and follow us on Facebook.
What we gonna talk about though? Drew?
Number 10.
Drew McIntyre?
Chris Jericho. Chris Jericho was always been in shape, never podgy, never outright jacked either. Jericho's in-betweener look offered him the unique position of wrestling as well as the junior heavyweight greats he encountered during his travels through Japan and Mexico, and the leaner, tougher adversaries that he came across in ECW, WCW, and WWE. You'll notice the lack of mention of All Elite Wrestling there, and it's by design.
He need to stop wrestling right now. I ain't gonna lie.
Declined to such a degree that it became a subject of mass social media mockery, particularly as it pertained to one viral clip of AEW's first world champion performing at a Fozzy gig. Jericho's weight gain, though initially concerning, was done with purpose. He explained to GQ that he wished to bulk up to impress the Japanese audiences. In 2018, I left WWE and I went back to New Japan for the first time in 20 years to headline the Tokyo Dome. While I was over there, I realized that the Japanese appreciate bigger, more blockier physiques.
The Japanese people will love me. What? Y'all boys will love me out there in Japan. I'm telling you.
Them, it equates to a more powerful main event presence. So when I came back the next year to headline again, I pulled a De Niro in Raging Bull, and I gained some weight just to be blockier, and it worked. Thankfully, in
face paint on?
Jericho has gotten his weight back under control, becoming more jacked than he's ever been, to the extent that many believe.
I don't watch AEW. I don't watch wrestling no more, to be honest.
9. Triple H. A Triple H should not be in a list such as this. He's always been ripped, superficially or otherwise, and this catapulted the game into his natural fitting role as WWE World Champion. Again, and again, and again, and well, you get the picture. He was one of the most jacked superstars of the time. For a period of 2000.
Look at my goat.
Well, you get the picture. He was one of the most jacked.
Look at my goat. Oh, flexing things 3 times, boy. Kiss that thing, walk down the entrance.
Superstars of the
That's my dog, boy. Oh my goodness.
Time. For a period of 2004, though, Triple H wasn't even the most jacked guy in his own stable.
He still was crazy too.
He wasn't in terrible shape, his pecs retained their prominence, and his traps were just about more towering than those of Randy Orton, his then ally in Evolution. But the issues arose when comparing the King of Kings to his other Evolution partner, Batista. At the time,
that boy
the
crazy
being
man.
groomed as WWE's next big thing, the next Royal Rumble winner, the next WrestleMania headliner, the next World Heavyweight Champion, the next Triple H. He was jacked too, possibly more than Triple H had ever been, but he wrestled an atypical style for a man of his size, matching the usual power offense with the speed and agility he packed into his spears, resulting in Triple H looking almost disheveled next to him.
Man.
Between 2002 and 2004, Triple H experienced a dramatic drop in muscle mass. At his 2002 peak,
hey, that boy had to hop off the roids. Ain't no telling.
He had a notably.
I know he had to stop wrestling like a couple years ago. Some heart issues. Ain't no telling how it was back then when he was younger.
Bulky, chiseled physique, but by 2004, that all changed. And this was due to various factors,
Eating
such as
crazy.
a groin injury he suffered in 2003, which made it almost impossible to work out on a regular basis. Despite still being physically capable in the ring, the visual contrast between those 2 years is often cited as evidence
crazy,
of how
boy.
quickly a star can lose their muscle. Number 8. Dustin Rhodes. Sadly, the struggle with Dustin Rhodes is topsy.
Why are we talking about Dustin? Bruh, I don't watch you, man.
Clean and sober, and that's amazing to me to say that. Pretty soon, you know, my world.
Why you say Dustin? Say his character name. You finna mess me up.
It's a mess. I've gained weight. I don't think I have any problems, and I'm 60 pills in a day. Half a gallon of vodka a day, an 8-ball every 3 days of cocaine, and it was just a mess. And I didn't give a shit about anything, anybody, nothing. I didn't give a shit about life. I tried to kill myself twice.
Pretty sus.
Dustin's weight struggles have been rampant throughout.
I ain't gonna lie to you, boy. I be taking some WWE personalities, boy, on stream. Man.
First stint as Goldust in the WWF, it was at its most prominent.
Hey, Goldust was gay.
Trade Black
Oh my gosh.
The costume was ill-fitting, his face had rounded out more than a beach ball, and he struggled to go through the motions of even the most basic of wrestling moves. It was painstakingly embarrassing both for Dustin and for TNA to have allowed him to continue as he was.
He got skinny later.
7. Scott Hall.
My dog.
At the height of his career as Razor Ramon, Scott Hall was a physical specimen of a man. He had the look, the charm, and the desire to go far in the industry, regardless of WWE's and later WCW's glass ceiling of mid-card booking for him. But then TNA happened. The TNA, you see, didn't care in 2010. They shafted company
Samoa Joe was cold too.
Attractions in favor of a slew of golden oldies because apparently Val Venus and the Nasty Boys drew a higher dime. They didn't need to care that Scott Hall was incapable of pulling himself together for a pay-per-view appearance because, hey, he was over a decade ago. Sadly, his weight wasn't the real issue. He was still struggling with substance abuse at the time, though it was very clear in every appearance.
Oh my gosh, boy!
5 months with the company that he was uncomfortably overweight. He appeared swollen.
You know what's crazy? The only reason I didn't see some of this back then, I was going down to my grandparents' house. I'm telling you, and mind you, TNA would come on at the same time as Dual Survival 2. And this back then, my people ain't have no cable, no nothing. Down in the country of Johnsonville, boy. Boy, oh my gosh. I don't think I could do it just straight up go outside and hoop. It was crazy.
In face and wore an
I was pissed.
exceptionally baggy jumper while wrestling. It was really heartbreaking that this was Hall's last real go at wrestling. Number 6. The Undertaker. Now oftentimes, heavier set wrestlers will, for the lack of a better term, hide their bodies behind their attire. Giants like Andre the Giant and the Big Show adorned a singlet, while Kevin Owens forged an unfathomable career without removing his t-shirt. The Undertaker sits at the head of the table, a man renowned for his indelible taste in wrestling attire, Survivor Series 2000 notwithstanding. The Taker's regularly constrained his torso, but there was a noticeable shift in his swole when he returned from his pectoral injury in 2000. Emerging at Judgment Day, the dead man famously transformed into the American Badass, moving away from a singlet to a more loose-fitting clothing to accommodate his weight gain. Depressingly, while The Undertaker's body mass went up, his match quality went down. Television, pay-per-views, and house shows all showed mediocre effort, and there isn't much worse than his and Kane's unforgiven 2001 clash with WCW's Chronic. But speaking of Kane, number 5, Kane. The Undertaker wasn't in shape in 2001, but Kane certainly was.
Oh my gosh.
The Undertaker was in shape in 2018, but Kane certainly wasn't. That is probably the most apt way in which to assess Kane and The Undertaker's association as the Brothers of Destruction. Indeed, in 2018, Kane's body was failing him. The Big Red Machine was truly the Big Red Machine. The top half of his singlet was one errant strike away from
I seen that.
A string of images from Crown Jewel 2000.
He didn't care about the game no more. Boy, rich. You know what I'm saying? 2018, ain't this almost close when he was running for, what is it, mayor or something like that?
2018, where he
like Tennessee or some garbage.
Taker infamously collided with Triple H and Shawn Michaels, positioning Kane in the most unflattering of pictures. And nobody can blame Kane here. He was no longer a full-time athlete. Crown Jewel marked his final match until his Royal Rumble resurgence in 2021, and he had to endure the inexplicably more tiresome task of governing Knox County, Tennessee as mayor. It was only natural that the weight would pile on. It is, however, nigh on impossible to promote yourself as this imposing demonic monster when you're built like an out-of-training Paddy the Baddy.
I don't care what you say, boy. You can walk a mile a day. You can. Boy got more money than us. Than me and you watching this video right now. Boy got money. You can't walk a mile a day. You can hire a little nutritionist and go crazy.
Before Mick Foley.
And it's crazy too. Once you start eating a whole lot of junk food, and it's just sitting up in your stomach like that, you don't feel right. You feel lazy.
No wrestling retirement lasts for good, but when Mick Foley was requested to resume his in-ring duties a mere 6 weeks after he had wrestled for what was believed to be his final time, he wasn't ready. Foley, who shared the spotlight with Triple H, The Rock, and The Big Show for the WrestleMania 2000 headliner, had indulged during his very brief hiatus from the World
got a can of ravioli.
Sadly, he couldn't move. He stumbled his way through the match, perhaps in pain, and was mercifully put out of his misery by the game after a grueling 90 minutes for both him and the viewing public. For contrast, The Big Show, who could go, was ousted just 5 minutes into the match. Mick had always been huskier than the average wrestler, but his performance here was
The Big Show was a bum.
awful, and definitely weren't at the level of a WrestleMania main eventer.
It was the woman.
Jake Roberts. Jake Roberts' slender build lent itself well to his portrayal of the Snake because he was as slick and as slimy as a reptile he carried down to the ring. He refused to work out in an attempt to maintain
I heard that.
thereby also separating him from the muscular...
Get that racist off my screen.
Steroid-driven...
Why would y'all show Ultimate? I said Ultimate. Why would y'all show Hulk Hogan but not Ultimate Warrior? Rest in peace to him.
The 80s,
That's my dog.
when he returned to WWF in 1996, though the Snake had now been cast as a stereotypical Bible preacher, was 40 to 50 pounds overweight, struggling to navigate his way through matches because of it, he continued to be booked favorably, most notably sharing the finals at the 1996 King of the Ring versus a pre-Stone Cold.
Vader was big too.
However, he was ultimately fired by Vince McMahon, with his weight being the main cause for his dismissal. Though he never confirmed it, it's been widely believed that Roberts was hooked on drugs and alcohol during this stint, which is believed to have led to his sudden weight gain. Jake, though, has remained firm that he was sober during that time.
Yeah.
Number 3, Sheamus.
Like I said, Sheamus. Hey, I know some ball knowledge for real. I stopped watching wrestling like around 2013.
In 2020,
but I watched Joe Cronin on YouTube.
And for much of his professional career,
Sheamus was cold. I'm talking about that. Sheamus build-up was crazy. I ain't gonna lie, two boys out here, bro, kicking everybody. I loved it. Hey, I loved it, boy.
Sheamus' body has been abnormal for the WWE system. He is as barrel-chested as he is nimble on his feet, and he managed to maintain a physique that complements every opponent he came across. He pushed to his limits, and he pushes his workout partners to their limits. So what happened in April 2024?
My legs go crazy though.
A 7-month sabbatical, looking more rounded than fans were used to seeing. He wrestled with the same grip, but the definition in his body was truly lacking. Sheamus would mention that he was asked back sooner than he had expected, as he detailed in a Twitter post in a response to a wave of body shaming. Furthermore, the Irish
well, that's crazy work, what?
Attributed his significant weight gain to a lack of motivation after missing out on challenging the then IC champion Gunther at WrestleMania 40.
Hey, people talk trash about Gunther. I'm glad that you retired that little bum John Cena, the man that ruined wrestling for everybody. Let's talk about it, man. Don't nobody on this earth like John Cena. I ain't never liked him. I like bro as an actor. That is it.
In an interview with
terrible wrestler. He couldn't even wrestle for real. You know what I'm saying? I can't respect no bum out here. Just he couldn't even perform. John Cena was just straight up garbage.
Chris Van Vliet, he mentioned,
obviously, I put a lot of weight on the burger after burger
when
I came back because I was hoping to make the Mania. When that didn't happen, I kind of lost.
When that boy John Cena changed what's it called, attitude adjustment to great shots, I'm blanking. Oh my goodness. What was it called? It was the FU to the attitude adjustment. Yeah.
Lost a little bit of discipline on my diet and I just
pissed me off.
Took the foot off the gas too much. That's on me, mate. I was pushing that match for Gunther at Mania and it just didn't happen. So I was really hoping to end the trilogy on that note, and then that didn't happen. So I just kind of like I lost a bit of motivation. It was like full on speed towards that, and then once I heard it, once that was kiboshed, I was like, fuck, whatever. So
hey, got the haircut crazy.
Took the foot off the gas. Probably drank too many Guinness. Enjoyed myself too much.
And number 1, Matt Hardy. Now, akin to his previous colleague Chris Jericho, Matt Hardy's always been in good shape. Well, apart from 2011. Hardy, who debuted for TNA in January of that year following his WWE release, carried what can only be described as a Homer Simpson-esque beer belly and rounded out face.
Hey man, shout out to the NC boys, bro. I love the Hardy boys. I don't care what nobody got to say to me. He can come in this shape right here. Still my dog.
With his stomach unceremoniously dangling over his wrestling attire in a most unflattering image. Now this wasn't the case.
That's not bad though. 2 weeks he can change that. That's all it takes.
Indulging during his time off, though he had undergone surgery for a burst appendix a few years earlier, which had contributed to his weight gain in the last years of his WWE tenure. He described his appendix issues in a post made to his WWE Universe blog in 2009, detailing them as a reoccurring problem. On a very interesting side note, 21st August 2009 marks the first time I've actually ever wrestled a match with an abdominal tear/hernia. When I was in 7th grade during a standard sports physical, I was diagnosed with an inguinal hernia on my lower side of my abdomen. The doctor that performed my surgery also informed me that I had an abdominal tear on my right side as well that would one day probably need to be corrected.
Once I joined
WWE and started on a full-time schedule, once every few months my intestines would slightly bulge or swell, and I would push them back in. A match weight gain resulted
gotta take care of yourself, bro.
Wrestling circles, though it wasn't to the chagrin of Hardy, as one Halloween he embraced the otherwise vicious comments, donning a fat suit and chasing his wife Rebby, who was dressed as a cheeseburger. But there you have it, folks. 10 wrestlers who returned totally out of
Hey, I might get back into wrestling for real, just for the women. I'm a keep it a buck. That might sound down bad. It might sound like I'm a little gooner WWE fan. But the women wrestling seem cool. It seemed better than the men. You got Obi Fema. I done seen him. I ain't tap in with the men wrestlers no more. The Uso brothers out here going crazy. I do not care about y'all bums. I seen how it was when y'all boys was coming up as a tag team. Get that little stupid garbage out my face. I don't care about none of y'all. That one of them Uso brothers, man, y'all boys, y'all do some TikTok garbage up in that ring, man. I ain't gonna lie, be pissing me off. But who else? Who's another man? Roman? I don't care about Roman either. Roman Spirit that's whack. One of the worst, the terriblest spears ever in a wrestling franchise. Come on, man, let's talk about it. Roman garbage.